Welcome to Shrouded Realities Podcast. I'm Joey with Steven, Connor, and Ruby, the podcast dog. Say what's up, fellas.
Hello.
What's up, fellas?
Today we are going to discuss the mysterious world of the Mormons. Shrouded in a little mystery. They've got some secrets that
They don't want you to know.
they don't want us to know. They
They
don't
were
want
trying to erase it.
They're trying to. Ooh, yeah, they do. They try to erase a lot of history.
Still ain't seen those gold tablets.
You hadn't seen the
Nope.
gold tablets, the magic ones that were written in another language that
That
can only
play
be
like
seen
a-
with crazy glasses.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
nuts.
Before we
weird.
start, though,
Yeah, let's
plug it up.
Let's plug. Let's plug us. We got a website now. We've got a shroudedrealities.com. We own the domain name of shroudedrealities.com.
That's a big deal.
Big
That's
deal.
pretty cool.
So hopefully we'll get merch up on it soon. Maybe by the time this goes out, we'll have some stuff for sale. So
I mean,
check
we've
it out.
already got the Facebook, we got the YouTubes, we got the. I mean,
Yep.
we're spreading it out.
Yep, we're starting some video. We're gonna start getting some content out.
flock to the TikTok, you know?
That's right.
Did you just make that up?
I did.
That's
That was
weird.
pretty good.
That's weird.
That might end up on a shirt.
Let's flock to the TikTok. I don't know about that. But yeah, let's talk Mormons. Little nervous. Disclaimer, got to throw this out there. We're idiots. We don't know what we're talking about.
Yes.
Everything we're
Nope.
saying is opinion and protected by our
First Amendment?
freedom of speech amendment.
Yep.
Which one is that?
The first.
We're so dumb we
The
don't know which
first.
That's the
first one.
first
No,
one.
the main one.
I
You
can
shouldn't have,
confirm
Joey.
it's the
We
first
can't be
one.
friends
Thanks.
anymore.
Okay, I don't know.
Ruby is a Mormon, actually.
Second Amendment's the
She
fun
is.
one, though, isn't it?
Ruby
The
the
second one was the
Mormon
best one.
podcast
Okay.
dog.
Ruby the podcast dog. She can't get sued for saying something stupid.
No, it's nice to be a dog.
Yeah.
Ruby the Mormon podcast dog.
I identify as a dog. How about that? Boom.
Boom. You're
Case
protected.
Yeah,
closed.
take that.
Take
Take
that,
that.
Mormons, with all your millions of dollars that you've embezzled.
More than that. More
More than millions,
than millions.
billions.
Oh wow! I mean, have you seen some of these temples that they've built?
They're, even the offshoot cult ones, they've
Yeah.
got some cash.
Yeah, they're
They know how to
raking
handle.
it in.
They know how to handle their money.
That 10% tithing is
We can get into that.
might be a little
Yeah.
We can get into that.
yeah, we're going to. We're going to.
But let's just jump it off. What the crap is a Mormon?
All right. Well, let's do the elevator Mormon pitch.
Okay.
Like what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Smith, old treasure hunter back in the 1800s. You remember the year?
1817?
I don't.
Yeah, 18.
Early 1800s.
Early 1800s. He's a treasure hunter, notorious liar, which
Yeah.
is weird.
He was
start
a
out a prophet.
storyteller, as they say.
Storyteller.
Yeah, he was a little treasure hunter, young kid trying to find his way in religion.
Mhm.
Says he goes to the woods to pray where he needs to go to church, and
And this is during an interesting time in American history with religion.
yep, there was
There were a lot of different groups,
Yep.
you know, mixing around.
Seventh Day Adventist was kicking off at that point.
the
You had,
the Quakers,
the Quakers,
some other odd groups that we could go do another podcast on. But
yeah,
it was
there
like it was a mix of a
a
bunch
lot
of things.
of offshoots of Christianity was happening at this time frame.
And
which
from
is-
what I heard-
which is pretty weird.
from what I heard too, it was there was like a revival period, like pretty
Yeah.
much like everybody was turning to looking for some kind of religion.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, so he's trying to find his way as a young man. Goes in the woods, prays to God. Hey, where do I need to go? And God don't just answer his prayers. He comes and visits
In his physical form,
with Jesus
with Jesus in his physical form,
and says, "Guess what?"
according to him.
Says, "Guess what? I know you're praying to find one, but they're all wrong. Everybody is
Every
wrong.
one of them.
So you got to do your own thing." He says.
Yep.
We're paraphrasing, of course. But yeah, so he tells him that someday there's going to be, we're going to give you some revelation. There's going to be some materials released to you that you're going to spread the word of
right.
Mormonism. Where does that name come from, by the way?
The
Mormon.
Moroni,
Yeah.
the
I
angel.
guess.
Moroni.
That makes sense. I don't know that to be a
Yeah.
fact, but that makes sense.
So
Mhm.
Stephen says the angel Moroni, which
Yeah.
is funny.
Because
They say Moroni, but I like
Yeah.
Moroni.
Moroni.
It's because they had to have covered that up. They said, no, it can't be Moroni. That sounds like baloney. We're not doing that.
Too easy.
Too easy.
Too easy.
Yeah.
Seventh-day Adventists come
It sounds
in.
like
Change
you
the
need to have
vowel.
your-
It just changed the vowel. That's all
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah. All right. So Moroni comes to him later in life. He goes for a few years. So, well, back up a little bit. He does go back and say God and Jesus talked to him. His
Mhm.
family believes him.
But it was a few years later that he said it. He wasn't like
Statute
Oh,
of
yeah,
limitations.
he's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it was
That's
a few
right.
years later. He held on to that of Jesus and God coming down
Wouldn't
in
you-
physical bodies, and he just held on to it.
And
For
it's
You
like,
go
ah,
years.
home and just like take a nap. You're like, that just happened.
Yeah.
Wow, what a
Walk
big,
in the door and your mom's like, "What did you just say? Nothing. Nothing.
Don't-
I'm
don't
going to my
worry
room.
about
Don't
it.
don't ask me
Don't
about
worry about it, Mom.
it." Yeah. And then he gets them nerved up and tells mom and dad, and they believe him. And apparently, maybe they didn't. I don't
So-
know. If my kid come to me and said,
So
some ass
they,
like
his
that,
parents
I'd be
did.
Like,
I
you're
did
going to
get a
the-
little.
Yeah.
I got a little background on his parents. So
Okay.
his mother, they went to church for a period of time, to a Christian believing church,
Mhm.
but she also didn't believe when in his youth. She didn't believe that the churches of the time were the real church either.
Okay.
So she said that there would be a prophet that came up at some point that would bring in the one true church. Well, it just so happened to be,
Young Joseph.
how
Smith.
crazy is it? It was their son.
Golly.
Well,
What
yeah,
is
it's
that?
insane.
My special boy.
My boy.
My special little boy is bringing in the one true church.
Yeah.
So she was in on the game a little bit from
Okay.
from what I've seen.
What were they teaching in the old church? Just King James?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, at that
Yeah,
point,
King
yeah.
James, for sure.
Okay.
Because we got some commentary on
Because
that
it's mostly
too,
like
about-
Protestant, right? Up in that area, the Northeast.
Yeah, they were in New York.
According to Joseph Smith, that's what God still talks in, is old King James, which is pretty weird.
Yeah.
And oddly enough,
All of the every prophecy he had was in old King James, which was pretty weird.
yeah, and one of the disbunking things that I've heard was even the metal plates that the Book of
Golden
Mormon, the golden
plates.
plates of the Book of Mormon, were written in some kind of Egyptian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Egyptian hieroglyphics.
Yeah, and even that was written in King James.
Yeah,
English.
all of it was.
Yeah,
Which
he had to translate it, but it
The
was
Egyptian
it
hieroglyphics
translated
in
as King
King-
James
yeah.
English.
yeah, Egyptian hieroglyphics and King James were around about the same
Yeah,
time
yeah.
frame, so it worked
Joseph
out.
Smith just like literally took a Bible, closed his eyes, and just flipped through and just threw his finger down. Was like, oh, put that one in there.
Yeah, he did. They said that. They
There-
said there was a
there was
lot of
some of
cut
that.
and paste,
There was a lot of that,
paste
yeah.
from the Bible into
Mhm.
his.
He
stuff.
just repackaged it. Was like
Yeah.
new
Yep.
program, y'all.
Well, supposedly, and we may get into this later, but they said when Jesus died on the cross, the 3 days that he was in the grave is when he came to the Americas. Did y'all hear that?
I did hear he
Did
come to the
not.
Americas and lived with the Indians who were,
For 3 days, he
Yep.
lived with them, and he revealed himself to them in the Americas while he was in the grave.
and the Indians were Israel
They were Israelites.
Israelites that came from Israel
Earlier.
on a boat
Yes,
to the
which,
Americas.
which works out, except
Yeah.
we show no time. We show no water travel across the
There's
sea
no
at that
evidence.
point in
No,
history.
no, we're jumping. See, so this religion's so jacked up in my head that it bounces all over the place.
Yeah, it's crazy how.
Mhm.
So let's back up. So he's a kid,
Mm-hmm.
21. He was 20 something. He was early 20s
Well,
when he found
was
the plates.
yeah when he found the plates. Now his original, I want to say he was 14 with his original God and Jesus coming down.
Is that when he got the stone?
When he
Or-
okay, so I'm getting there. He,
Okay.
Moroni. I'm gonna say Moroni because it's
Yeah.
I
fine.
like it better.
So Moroni goes to him and says,
Hey, y'all.
Hey, follow me. I'm gonna take you to the plates, and they're buried in the woods in New York.
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, so Moroni, when he was Moroni, so backing up, he was supposedly a person on Earth at one time. So that's
Yeah,
how he buried
was.
the
He
plates.
was in the Nephites and the Lamanites.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about
during,
right.
during that time frame.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So he buries them, comes back as angel form, tells Mr. Young Smith, hey, let's go find the plates. They're in a box in the ground, in the woods. I'm going to show you where they're at.
So I have a question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
If Moroni was an angel,
Yep.
does that mean that he never achieved his God status?
You're jumping early. You're jumping way ahead.
But
No.
it's
We're just setting
it's
it
a
up.
thought. It's a thought that just happened.
Okay, so
In
keep that in
real
mind.
time. Real time.
Keep that in
Is that
mind.
something that happened? Was he not a good enough Mormon that he achieved God status?
Yeah, because in their, it as part of their heaven,
There's like 3 sections.
there's three
Yeah,
three
there's-
sections of heaven, and then there's 3 levels of the highest heaven.
And everybody pretty much goes to heaven.
Yeah, even if you don't even
Yeah.
if you're not Mormon,
Well, you can get baptized after the fact when
which
you're
is
dead.
like most of what they do when they get to be a good Mormon is just
Yeah.
go to church and get baptized over and over again for
Yeah.
dead people,
It's crazy.
which is
They
cool.
don't
I
change
mean,
the water.
it's cool for me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Like,
don't
hey,
change the water. We're using the same water.
Yeah.
hey, gross. But it's cool for me as a non-Mormon. Like, hey,
The
Mormons, hook me
Mormon.
up. If you're a
Whoa.
Mormon listening to this,
It's like-
write my name
It's
down
like
and
a
hook me up.
It's like a
one day.
401k and not even put money in. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
So too easy, but
Get in the Mormon bathwater.
gross. So Maroney takes him to the box in the woods in New York, opens the
Mhm.
box. There's I don't know how, that's another thing. How do you get a whole Bible's worth of material printed on plates of gold?
Dude, just
That'd be a
Well, the
lot
Book
of
of Mormon's
gold.
what, like 5 books or 5?
I can't tell you
It's not a big
specifically.
book, I don't
It's
think.
not. I
It's
thought
not
it was
huge,
3.
but it's big
I was
enough.
thinking it was 3.
That's what she said.
But it's big enough that you're not going to fit all that stamping out
Mhm.
words on a golden plate.
with a chisel and a rock.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not.
Mm.
Like how many, like how thin is the the metal, or how,
Right.
you know what I mean?
How
Like,
small
I
is the
want to
letters?
say that there were actual dimensions that some of the apologists have now.
Okay,
The Mormon apologists, they come out and
they justify that
they
question.
justify that question because there's a time when supposedly he's running with these for miles. And let's talk about how heavy
Gold is.
gold is for a minute. So this guy's running for miles
Bro, he was
with
the
hundreds of pounds of golden
He's the
tablets.
original David Goggins. Who's going to carry these tablets?
I was picturing Charlie in the chocolate factory after he finds the golden ticket.
Go outside with two
He's got the
20-pound
golden
dumbbells
ticket.
and run.
Yeah, and they probably,
Run a
and
couple
I
of
guarantee
miles.
they weighed more than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So he takes them back. They're all in some weird Egyptian hieroglyph that nobody understands, but Moroni hooks him up with some seer stones and magic
No.
goggles.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
got the seer stones from a witch during his
Treasure hunting
treasure
days.
hunting days.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
so
he
that's
used
how
those
he
in a
would
hat.
see. That's how he would see into the ground and see the treasure
Uh-huh.
in quotations for
Yep.
everyone.
Yep.
The treasure in the earth when he was taking money from farmers. so
So farmers would pay him to go find
yeah,
treasure
to go find
with
treasure
his
on
magic
their land.
rock.
Yeah,
Weird. Anyway, so this is this is
How did these people live so
this
long?
is the
These are
guy
some
that
dumb
yeah.
people.
This is the
Hey,
guy
bro,
that
there's a young boy on a rock. He can see in the dirt. Give him some money.
so funny.
We're gonna give you. We're gonna be rich.
We're gonna be rich.
these are the people falling for the Nigerian prince. things
Yep,
on
this is the
internet.
original.
Yeah,
It's the original Nigerian
this
prince
is the
in your email.
Joseph Smith is the original Nigerian.
Joseph Smith
prince.
is a Nigerian, confirmed.
Anyway, so he takes his golden plates. He takes them home. He says nobody can look at them.
Yep.
Nobody can, even his wife. Nobody can look at them,
Mm-mm.
which is
Because Moroni
Yep.
told me. He told me
him
no.
not to. So he, the way he has to read them is look through the glasses, and he can read them.
Mm-hmm.
Or he could put the seer stone. I'm not making this stuff up, y'all. He puts a seer stone in a hat while the plates are in the room, and then the words was projected onto the rock so that he can read it off.
Yep.
So he can't write and read at the same time, so he gets a buddy to come over. Says, stand behind this curtain so you can't see the plates, and
right.
I'm going to read this stuff to you. And this is the Book of Mormon. This is what's going into
This is the one real church right
this
here.
is the one real church.
Book of Moron?
So could you imagine though looking like your buddy? All right, so
You walk in, he's like,
yeah. Well, let's pretend I'm Joseph Smith.
okay,
You're my buddy.
All right.
Hey, bud, I'm gonna get you to write down this stuff. All right.
okay, cool.
Okay. I'm gonna read off this golden tablet. All right.
Gold.
Yeah. You can't see it though.
But
You can't
can
look.
where is this golden tablet?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
We could retire.
I just got it. It's under my bed.
Okay.
You can't look at it. All right. So what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stick my head in this hat. All right. And I'm gonna read off this stuff, and I need you to write it down.
You got to write it down for me.
I can't even read. I can't write.
Good news for you, I can. All right. So I'm gonna go stick my head in his hat. The Book of Mormon says he got this thing over here, and Jesus came back and he came to the Indians. You got that?
Jesus is an Indian.
Maybe.
Well, the first time it might have been. We're about to get to that.
Yeah. So all right. So his buddy's writing this stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
His wife seems the guy, the buddy, I can't remember his name. Do you remember his name?
I don't remember his name. No.
Anyway, he's one of the first original members of the church. But he takes his stuff home to his wife, and his wife's smelling the BS from a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
She says, if this is real, we're gonna pretend you lost this stuff, and he's gonna be able to redo it.
She definitely isn't blonde, that's for sure.
No, she's a
That's
smart
right.
lady. Smart lady. So he does. He goes back and says, Joseph, man, sorry, lost the book. We're going to have to redo this.
I walked
Joseph's-
I went through the woods.
Joseph's mad too because he's like, you know what? I got to go back to God and tell him this.
Yep. So he does.
Uh-huh.
He apparently goes back to God, and God says, all right, I'm mad. So I'm going to do it again.
You're grounded from the tablets, and
But-
then the tablets disappeared.
They just
Yeah.
floated away.
But then, so how did the Book of Mormon get written if it got lost? The original one got lost.
He gave it back to him. He was just grounded from it.
But
Yeah.
guess what?
Yeah.
It's different this
It's
time.
different this time.
There were revisions.
There were revisions.
It went back up and they're like, nah.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna work out.
So anyway, so that's pretty much the basis of
Yeah.
Mormonism.
The
where-
start.
That's the
Yeah.
start of it. All right. So now you get to nowadays, and
It's completely different, I
It's-
think.
yeah,
It is complete. Well, and like once a year, there was also different. God would come to him and give him different prophecies and things that would
Yeah.
change pretty often.
Yeah.
There would be, oh well, you need to be having sex with a bunch of women, and that
Yeah.
would be one of.
that was a fun one.
That was
He goes to his wife and says, and this is real. Goes to his wife and says, I don't want to, but I got to marry this teenage girl.
yeah.
My
I
hands are
don't
tied.
wanna.
There's-
My hands are
hey,
tied.
I mean, can you argue with the Lord?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
So apparently, I don't know. Do you think she did? You think she argued with him?
To be a fly on the wall in that situation would be crazy. just coming in with your head down, just like, babe, I'm sorry.
The Lord told me.
But the Lord told me that I need to have 30 women as wives.
Guess what? They're all young and
And
hot.
they're all going to be young.
I promise you, I am so sad for you right now. I am.
tell you,
my
I've
heart
never-
is broken.
I didn't really even want to come tell you, but I had to.
I like how we put a country accent on Joseph Smith.
I feel like he did. I feel like
had
he
to
had
have.
yeah.
Even though he's in New York,
was
he
in
had
New
to have
York.
some accent.
Well, I mean, the Garden of Eden. Did y'all hear about that? The
Oh, yeah,
Garden
that
of
was in
Eden?
Arkansas.
It was Missouri.
Missouri.
Yeah, it was in Missouri. I don't know if anybody's ever been to Missouri, but man, that place is beautiful.
Did I hear about that tree? What that forbidden fruit in there?
That's right. So somehow in Mormon world, we started in the Garden of Eden,
Yep.
went to Israel,
Yep.
and then came back to the Americas. Granted, historical evidence proves that 100% incorrect
Yeah.
because we were not traveling the seas in at the beginning of time.
What's the river that runs through Missouri? Ozark.
Ozark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get on a boat. We're going to Israel.
Yeah, it's right next to the sea, so
Yeah.
it drops you off right in the sea
Yeah.
from it.
Jeez. We're just scratching the surface too.
Oh, yeah,
There's
we're
some-
just-
This
there's
is
some-
great.
There's some goofy stuff that goes on. So
There is. We're jumping a little bit.
we're
but-
jumping all over the place.
but
I
it's hard
apologize.
not to.
It's hard. Yeah.
It's so hard not to.
I've watched stuff. So I've watched stuff that was pro Mormon. I've watched stuff that was neutral Mormon, and I've watched
Yeah.
stuff like from ex Mormons saying that
Yeah.
all this stuff is wild and crazy.
weird.
To be
Yeah.
fair, I've never met a Mormon, but I've heard they're nice.
Yeah,
they're good
super
people.
Nice. Yeah, there's parts of their religion I like because they're super nice.
Yeah.
There's
I mean, they pull from the Bible,
they-
right?
ish.
I mean,
Sort
I
of.
feel like they worship a different Jesus.
I
than
think
we
that
do.
they
they're.
ha-
I
yeah,
think
they-
they're.
yeah,
they're
yeah.
pretty King James for the most part,
mhm.
Yeah.
but they kind of pick and choose a lot of things.
Like, I don't want to make it seem like we're demonizing these people.
No,
They're
no,
not
not at all.
bad people.
No.
It's hard not to cut up and have fun
Yeah.
with it, but I think that they really are good people.
Yeah.
They just have a pretty weird theology.
Yeah.
Yeah, beyond weird.
And they're all kind of that most. So they're the fastest. You told me they're the fastest growing religion in the world right now. Like
yeah.
one of them.
They
Gotta
said,
be.
and they said, I want to say it was in the next 100 years there would be like 265 million Mormons worldwide.
Good night. So
That's
they
huge.
So they've got a. So I don't know how they're doing it, but they've got a message that people are projecting to. They
Well,
like
yeah.
it. I mean, they like it. The kids are
Which
growing up with it.
We can get into later about what that message is,
Yeah.
about the positives that
Yeah.
entail what what waits for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. When you die. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
I'm kind of, to be honest with you, I want one to come to my door. Now.
Just to
I do
see.
too. Now that I've got a little more
Yeah,
information
because
about
I
it.
used to be
Yeah.
scared of, not really scared of them, but just like,
Like,
hey man, I know Jesus, you can keep moving.
Yeah, standoffish with it for sure.
But now that I know what I know, I would like for one to sit down with me for a while.
Yeah,
Just
I
to
would too.
pick his brain.
And just I would like to have a conversation with him of like, so tell me about this.
Mhm.
So a guy found some golden tablets
Yeah.
in the woods,
Yeah.
and now you've based your entire life off of it.
Have you ever read the Bible?
Yeah,
From what I understand too, is they don't study the Bible because they believe it's messed up.
yeah, it's full of.
But they only take Jesus out of the Bible, right? They use him as a
They use
figurehead.
Jesus, yep.
So it's like,
yeah, there's some.
okay.
They stole a bunch of things from the Bible, took a bunch of stuff from the Bible,
Mhm.
and just went and twisted it all around and
Yeah.
said, well, you know, when he died on the cross, he actually come to the Americas for 3 days.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's a little vacation. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Coming to see.
A little staycation.
Come to see the Rocky Mountains.
That's
Yep.
yeah, coming to see the Rocky Mountains while he's there.
Yep.
So what? How did they feel about the dark-skinned Indians? And
They weren't a fan.
yeah.
They were not as pleasant as their white-skinned brethren.
And I heard today too, while listening to some podcast, that they part of their reward after they die is if you were born with dark skin. Please, this is not coming from me.
Right. Yeah. This is not our
If-
this is not our belief at all.
If you're born with dark skin, you get blessed with white skin and blonde hair after
Blessed
you die.
with it. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
like
a-
it's a
not a-
gift.
The B word
It's a gift.
That's a rough way of putting that.
So pretty much saying your dark skin
is a flaw.
is not good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
bad character trait to
And
them.
you touched on it a minute ago about things changing in their theology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was one of them. Was you used to not be able to make it into priesthood if you had dark skin.
Yeah.
They
Till the
changed.
70s, right?
Yeah, about when
The civil rights.
civil rights started going on, they decided that
Like we need to be more popular. To do that, we need to change some things.
Well,
Yeah.
it seems to be a very popularist deal to begin with because there's a lot of changes like that as culture changes, they change.
yeah,
One thing about God is if he said it, that's it.
Yeah.
He doesn't go back and change his
Yeah.
mind about it. So
yeah. That's kind of for me one of the sniffs of BS. If the seer stones and golden plates and magic translator
And a
rocks
guy named
and a guy
Moroni.
named Moroni wasn't
Yeah.
enough, that they seem to change with the wind.
With the times.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The most recent was LBGQ stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're like 2-3 years ago just started saying that was A-okay.
Yeah.
So
Need more members, baby.
yeah.
Bring in that money.
Get them numbers and the money. Tell us about the money, Connor.
Are we there? Are we ready for that yet?
Let's
I
do
think
it.
we're ready for money.
Okay. Well, who do you think has more money? Before I do this, we
We
need to
don't play quiz
separate.
show?
We need to
Let's do a
separate
quiz.
LDS and the Mormon. We need to go ahead and make that distinction.
I think
Latter-day-
LDS Mormons are the same.
You're saying FLDS.
FLDS.
There it is.
Fundamental.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to dig into them in a minute too.
Because
Yeah.
we need to separate that before I get into this.
Okay.
I think because
But even they got some money.
yeah
Yeah.
But anyway, so we'll say LDS.
LDS because they're the more popular.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's-
LDF is the more mainstream
Okay.
Mormon.
yeah. Even that one has offshoots.
It does.
So-
Yeah.
Teach me something.
You've got this is the Catholic Church in Germany, not the Vatican, but the Catholic Church in Germany.
Okay.
Their worth is $265 billion,
Okay.
and that makes sense because the Catholic Church is huge.
Yeah. Been around for a long time.
Huge. Yeah. What do you think the Latter-day Saints worth is at?
Is this Latter Day Saints as a whole? As
LDS. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
all of
So like
the
the big
entire
ones.
world.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know.
I'm
No
gonna say,
idea.
I'm gonna give it a bill. One cool billion.
265 billion.
265.
265
billion.
Big time.
Yeah.
Almost as much as the state of California brings in state taxes.
That's their net worth.
That is their worth. So,
that
assets,
would be like
that's
buildings.
Yes.
They got some balling buildings, by
They
the way.
do. They go. They go
Beautiful.
I wonder
hard.
if that's part of their agenda
draw.
is just like make these really cool structures to bring people in.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
they've got Moroni
Yeah.
up at the top of all of them too.
Yeah, he does not.
Yeah,
What's he
he's-
like doing a little pose or something?
Doing a little pose with his trumpet.
Yeah,
And,
it's a whole thing.
yeah, he kind of looks like a graven image to
Kind
me.
of seems like
But I digress.
But I digress.
seems like a little bit of idol worship, but whatever.
Shoot. So
265 billion.
billion.
Yes. And I
Yeah.
learned,
Billion.
I mean, I was like, man, how do they have so much money, you know?
Yeah.
But they're really good at like investments and like buying land, buying housing, getting into the market.
Mm-hmm.
They own 2% of Florida.
Yeah. 2% of Florida
2% of Florida, the state. 2%.
Wow.
of like land mass.
Land mass.
Good night.
Yeah.
It's more than Disney.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And where was I going with this thought? The by 2080, they're going to build a. It'd be more than a compound. It'd be like a safe place for their followers for 500,000. They're going to call it Zion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know where from the Matrix.
Yeah.
Their safe place is called Zion too.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Interesting.
So it's like all these different things playing into each other. It's so weird, and their plans it's like they're deeper into the market than we know.
Yeah.
And they're just getting bigger.
Are they doing that in Florida? Is that the plan, or is it? Because
They're going to do that. They're going to do that.
Utah
They're going to do that in Utah.
I was about to say they've already owned Utah.
I think they're doing this stuff in Florida because it's such a free state.
Yeah.
You know, there's probably not as much restriction on like owning stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
Like corporation wise.
Taxes are lower there too. Income tax and all that's not a thing there. So
I think they're just
playing into their
bolstering,
game.
just getting as much assets as possible.
Yeah.
You know, to protect themselves. But the fact that this is such a huge organization and they're based off these weird stuff, and they're so huge.
Yeah.
It is mind blowing.
So they're big into genetics too. I don't know if y'all have seen that.
Like
so
keeping
their
bloodlines pure?
No, genealogy, like going back and doing DNA ancestry stuff.
Yeah, they said they're solid on that game.
So why they are is because some of these people predated Mormonism at all, and they think that they have to then go clean those people that have died to get them into different levels of heaven.
Yeah.
So they go through and they try to dig through ancestries and DNA and genealogies
to be baptized in the name of
baptized
great
in,
aunt Elphel.
yeah, exactly. So could you imagine, like, I can do whatever I want on earth because I got some Mormon buddies that can baptize me later?
Right. Like
That's
where's the responsibility?
So I think that the responsibility in their mind is they want to get to the highest level of heaven.
yeah.
So even the ones that they're baptizing, they just get
gonna get to the little.
They just get to hang out in heaven, like on the outside. Like I mean, maybe inside, but
still in a good part.
Still a good part, but just
not hell.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Yeah, and like I said,
is there hell?
Yeah, I don't think they do.
So I don't understand how there is a hell. Because I want to say I've heard that they have unforgivable sins, like murder would fall under unforgivable sin. But can that be cleansed? I don't know how that works. Can it be cleansed?
Well, I heard
that
I heard that Stephen Paddock, the guy who did the Las Vegas massacre, that he can't be baptized after the fact. And there was somebody else I heard, but he was one that they will.
Where does that come from? Who told them that was the case? It's like, oh, this guy.
Because who's doing it? Is it the church or is it individuals doing that? You know what I mean? Could you, as an individual, do that for somebody?
So Jeffrey Dahmer's off limits?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, who draws the line?
He looks like a Mormon, honestly.
That's a problem to me. Is who draws that line of like, nah, he was too bad. Yeah. You need to just be good enough that we can baptize you after the fact.
Yeah.
But
see, these are the questions why I hope they come knock on my door.
I do too. Yeah,
dude, I'm inviting them in immediately.
It's like, are you playing God?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can start getting into our little thing now.
So playing on that, that's part of their belief is the different levels of heaven. The highest one, you have to be there's a bunch of stipulations.
No alcohol.
One of them was being married in the church.
Yeah.
Like called it being sealed or something like that.
Yeah.
Having a sealed family.
But this is only men too, by the way, that can get to the.
No, girls can too.
Can they? Okay.
That's a recent revelation, I think.
Yeah. Just weird. But so they can get, their family can get into the highest level, but the highest level, they get their own universe.
Was it world or universe?
They become gods themselves of their own. I heard it described as an experiment. Like say you go the highest one, you can go play your game of Sims and play with your own world as your own god.
But you've got to go. You've got to populate your own world with your own wives.
Your heavenly mother.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
So you're just having endless fun up there with your wife, and she's just one after another.
Yeah.
She's just
popping
up
them babies.
Does that hurt for them? You think that hurts for them?
I don't know.
No, because you're God. You can just be like, nah, it's good.
Fine.
I guess. I don't know.
This part, I was thinking about it. It sounds like something like a 12-year-old thinks about. Like, guys, listen, good idea. What if we could just have our own planets and we just have as much sex as we want? It'd be so cool.
I'm gonna be a god.
It's gonna be great.
I can have all the girls,
Everyone.
all of them.
Did y'all ever have that rug when y'all were a kid that had like the roads and stuff on
Yeah.
it? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So just imagine a 12-year-old. He's got his army men over here and he's playing God. He's like,
Now you're just gonna die.
no, guys, you see that hot girl over there? That's my wife.
And they can have all the wives,
They can have as many as they want
as many as they want.
in heaven, I
Yeah.
guess. Now
Chicks get a bad rap with
yeah,
Mormon.
they've got a bad time.
I don't understand why they're okay with this stuff. Like I said, they can't get to heaven. They have got their own thing,
Yeah.
but they're just like an afterthought.
I think they've got a misunderstanding of the submission verse.
Yeah,
Women submit to their husbands. They take that quite literally, I think, and
Yeah.
women are supposed to,
yeah. So
Do they never like sit down, like put on a whiteboard, like pros and cons with their husband? Like, so you get a planet with wives.
all the wives,
You get to have endless fornication.
endless coitus.
And here's me. I get nothing.
I get to pop out
I get
babies
to
for the
pop
rest of
babies out for
eternity.
eternity.
God.
Man.
So and that brings up another thing. The math doesn't work either.
Okay, tell me about the math.
You got a world of half male, half female.
Yeah. So
All the males get all the ladies. There's not enough ladies for all the dudes.
not all of them are going to get a planet because they did not
Get to reach
fulfill
the-
their purpose on Earth.
But all the girls don't go either.
Well,
So the
I
math
mean,
still ain't there.
Nah, most of I don't know. The math don't math. You're
Math
right.
ain't mathing.
But
That Mormon math.
that Mormon math is off. They're good at other math, obviously. Cause
Yeah, they're getting that money
They're
up.
buying the state of Florida at this
Yeah.
point. So
Can you imagine like being like an accountant for them, like handling billions of dollars and just being like, bro, so what are you gonna do with your planet? Bro, what are you gonna name it?
is that? I wonder if that is an actual conversation they have. Is like, guys, what are y'all gonna do with y'all's
Yeah.
planet? When
Guys, I just sold this deal for $100 million. Hey, my name's gonna be like Equinox or I don't know why I chose that voice,
So
but
I-
it's so fitting, honestly.
So
It does work.
I really don't think a single Mormon is continuing to listen to this show if they've
No,
gotten this
they
far
dipped
into
out.
it.
They
But
heard the
if you did, Mormons, if you did,
yes.
please reach us out.
We love you.
Reach out to I want to hear from them.
I do
Reach
too.
out
And
to us
I
on
love 'em.
social media right now.
Yeah, please do.
Pick up your phone, hit Facebook, Shrouded Realities.
Mm-hmm.
You can hit us up on our email if you want to be quiet about it.
Ex-Mormon,
Shrouded Reality
ex-Mormon as well. If
Yeah.
you're an ex-Mormon and you're listening to this, reach out to us. I'd like to.
Yeah.
You've been in that frame of mind. I'd like to hear from.
We've
you.
got so many questions.
I'd
We've been
love to know.
studying
Yeah.
this for probably.
I want to know
a
what's
few
real
weeks
and what's
now.
not. It's all information out there. I don't know. I want to hear it straight from the source.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know?
I want to know, is this stuff still prevalent today? I mean, this may be old information that we're getting at this point. I mean,
because they change.
because they change week to week, it seems like. So I'd love to hear
Flip-flop.
from anybody and just get some solid information on
Yeah.
it.
ShroudedRealities@gmail.com is our email.
That's right.
But
Please
all the
don't send us like, hey, I'm gonna blow up your studio.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
We're cool.
We're
Just send us bad vibes.
We're
Just do that.
Yeah,
just be like, hey,
Do they
you
do
guys are
vibes?
idiots.
I don't know.
I don't know, our vibes wrong.
I don't know.
Just
It
tell us.
seems like they got good vibes though. They all are happy.
They're all pretty chill.
Yeah.
pretty chill
The
people.
thing is we're probably going to end up with like 8 million Mormons showing up at our doors and be like, hey, do
Pitchforks.
you want to know about it? You want to know about
I'd-
You want to know about
I'd be
it?
like, yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Here's our sting stone. Start throwing stones at us.
Hey, that'd be sweet.
That'd be cool. I'd catch it.
I'd test it. I'd be
Yeah.
like, this is bullcrap. All right, let's go.
Yeah. So the part of their money too is their tithing is
Yeah.
strict.
Yeah, they actually
Hard 10%.
It used to be just like 10% of your extra money. Now it's like 10% of all your money.
Yeah.
So like, even if you're struggling, like you have to
Yeah.
tithe.
And even like, and it's so one of the ex-Mormon podcasts I listened to, he was a entrepreneur, so he made his own money. They were taking 10% of his gross, like before taxes, everything. They were just yanking it from
So
him.
is it it's of course a mandatory 10%, but if you give over that, is that a situation too?
I
Like,
don't know.
do they give over 10%? Does that make you a better Mormon?
I don't know. He did say that they did have auditors that made sure you like this. It's like for real. Like they're gonna dig into your stuff to make sure, you're legit.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a sticky situation. Like that was another thing too. They're big on accountability. They had I watched a show about the the missionaries that we're talking about, the young guys you see on the bicycles with the cool ties.
Right.
They've got to, they go through training, and while they're going through training, they've
Yeah.
got accountability guys watching them. And then even when they go on mission, they have to stay within eye and earshot of their partner. That's why we
right.
always see two on the road.
Mhm. That's is that a mandatory thing for them to go to temple, or I think that's what I've heard is they have to go to temple before they're anointed to go on the mission field. And
yeah, that was part of their works to get into the highest levels of heaven.
Going to temple, from what I saw, is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like that's where you
like
get
you can't
into
even just go walking in. Like,
no, like you have to, and that's really where
milestone.
the secretive stuff comes in a lot of today's Mormon, I think, is in that temple, whatever they're doing in there.
Yeah.
I've seen a little bit of stuff about
that's
it.
That's the shrouded
That's where it's really shrouded up.
Yeah,
because they don't want you to know what they're doing in there.
No, and we're in a time in space right now that the ex-Mormons have a platform.
Yeah,
you know, there's stuff like this podcast that puts out stuff that they don't want people to know.
Well, there's been video. People have come out with videos inside of temple where they've got just hidden camera stuff. I don't know if y'all seen any of that. They're doing some weird stuff. That's where the holy underwear comes from.
I was about to ask. You want to tell them about what you got to have on under your clothes before you can go into temple?
Well, I heard it's all the time. Like you have to wear it.
Yeah, once they reach a certain level.
Once you reach a certain level, you're all the time wearing your holy underwear. But it's basically like a white T-shirt and white boxers that are sewn together.
Yeah, it looks super lame.
It kind of, it's really a weird, like, think of a white romper. That's what it looks like.
A romp him.
Yeah.
A big diaper.
And then in the temple, I've heard just from people that have been there and talked about it a little bit,